Vance has poll numbers labeling him the least popular vice presidential candidate of the 21st century. Unsurprising, given his many extremist views on everything from child care to the truth of who won the 2020 election.
He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
Welcome to Dr. John's podcast. So what just happened? Washington is in full-scale meltdown. Not gradual, not theoretical, but simultaneous. Every check, every balance, every institution snapping into place at once. And the president at the center of it has just realized there is no road left. Let me take you inside what is unfolding in real time. Because what is happening right now...
Not admitting your running mate lost the last election is a huge red flag that you have an issue with the truth. But don't take my word for it. I mean, here he is, caught in yet another lie.
First of all, I never supported a national ban.
I certainly would like abortion to be illegal nationally.
Politicians lie, but come on. And then there's his extremist stances like this.
Is not political theater. It is not cable news hype. It is a genuine constitutional crisis that has reached its breaking point, and the numbers alone tell you everything you need to know. We are tracking a number that has been climbing by the hour, a number that started this morning at 47 and has now exploded past 60.
MS Now's Carol Leonnig and Jackie Alamany have that incredible reporting. Eddie Glaude is also back with us. So, Carol, take us through the evidence Jack Smith found.
Yeah, Chris, you summarized that beautifully. The enduring mystery of the classified documents case, even for Republican allies and supporters of Donald Trump, starting when I began talking to them in June of 2020. Was why did Donald Trump put himself in this kind of criminal exposure and danger of being charged with a very serious crime by taking these documents out of the White House after he left in 2021 and left the presidency? And why did he obstruct justice, the evidence suggests, and conceal and basically mislead the government about the fact that he was withholding these documents when the government subpoenaed them? You know, you will remember Donald Trump insisted through his lawyer that he had turned over.
That number is the count of members of Congress, Democrats and Republicans together, who are publicly demanding that Donald Trump resign immediately. Not impeach, not investigate, resign. Now, tonight. This is not a fringe movement. This is nearly a tenth of the entire Congress, and the number is accelerating so fast that by the time you finish reading this, it could be 70, it could be 80, it could be 100, and here is what makes this number truly historic. 20 of those demanding Trump's resignation are Republicans. Republicans from red states, Republicans from districts where Trump won by double digits, Republicans who have spent years defending him, making excuses for him, voting with him. And now they are standing up and saying in public that he has to go. The names are significant. Senator Mitt Romney, a figure with real weight in the Republican establishment, released a statement saying that duty demands Congress act now, that Trump's unfitness endangers America, that he must resign or face forced removal. When Romney speaks like that, other Republicans listen. Representative Tony Gonzalez from Texas, from deep red Texas, from a state where Trump remains popular, joined the demands. Gonzalez said Trump is incapacitated and must go. These are not never-Trumpers from the left wing of the party. These are mainstream Republicans who have looked at the situation, looked at what is about to happen, and decided that they are not going down with the ship. So why now? What changed in the past 24 hours that turned 47 members into 62 and counting? The answer is sitting in a federal courthouse, and his name is Judge Boasberg. The judge issued something that no one in Washington can ignore, an explicit immediate arrest threat. He said that if Trump violates his orders one more time, federal marshals are standing by. They will move within hours. They will take the President of the United States into custody. That threat, that real, tangible, imminent threat of a sitting president being handcuffed by federal law enforcement, lit a fire under Congress. Republicans looked at that and realized that Trump is going to be arrested. That is not speculation. That is not hyperbole. That is a federal judge with the authority to enforce his orders, saying he will do it. And if Trump is going to be arrested anyway, why should Congress stand by and let it happen? Why shouldn't they act first, force him out, and salvage whatever dignity the office has left? And while all of this is happening, the government is shutting down. The Department of Homeland Security is hours away from closing its doors. Federal workers are about to be told they are not getting paid. The country is facing a national security crisis with Iran escalating military threats. Gas prices are spiking. The economy is teetering. And the president, the man who is supposed to be managing all of this, is locked in the Oval Office, having what multiple White House sources are describing as a complete psychological breakdown. Let me tell you what those sources are saying. Trump is raging. He is screaming at aides. He is threatening people. He has canceled nominee meetings because he is too angry, too distressed, too panicked to focus on anything other than his own survival. He is making frantic phone calls to anyone who might still be loyal, demanding they do something, fix something, stop something. But there is nothing to fix. There is nothing to stop. The articles of impeachment have passed. The judges have ruled. The Congress is turning against him. And for the first time in his life, Donald Trump is facing a situation he cannot bully his way out of, cannot delay his way out of, cannot tweet his way out of. It is over, and he knows it. The psychological collapse is real. People who have been in the room describe a man who has gone from defiance to rage to something that looks like despair. He is not governing. He is not making calls to world leaders. He is not signing legislation. He is sitting in the Oval Office, surrounded by lawyers and aides who are telling him that his options have run out, and he is screaming at them to find more options. But there are no more options. The immunity defense is dead. The scheduling excuses are dead. The judges have ruled. The Congress has organized. The public has turned. 60% of Americans now support Trump's resignation, a number that has spiked in just the past few hours as the news of the resignation demands has spread. Think about what that means. 60%. That is not a partisan number. That is not Democrats wanting to get rid of a Republican president. That is a supermajority of the country saying, in effect, that they have had enough, that they no longer believe this president can serve, that they want him gone. And when you combine that with nearly 100 members of Congress demanding the same thing, including members of his own party, you are looking at a president who has lost every pillar of support that keeps a presidency standing. Let's walk through how this happened, because the speed of it is almost impossible to comprehend. This morning, the number was 47. By mid-afternoon, it had jumped to 50. By evening, it was 62, and the rate of defections is accelerating. Every time a new Republican adds their name, it gives cover to other Republicans who were waiting to see which way the wind was blowing. Every time Judge Boasberg escalates his rhetoric, more lawmakers decide they cannot be associated with a president who is about to be arrested. Every time word leaks from the White House about Trump's deteriorating mental state, more members conclude that the 25th Amendment is not just a political tool, but a constitutional necessity. And the leaks are coming fast. Susie Wiles, Trump's own chief of staff, has been exposed as a witness against him, someone who has been cooperating with investigators, someone who has been telling prosecutors what she saw. When the chief of staff turns, the White House knows it is over. Kent, the counterterrorism official who walked out, resigned in protest, saying he could no longer serve a president who was unfit for duty. These are not Democrats. These are career officials, people who served under multiple presidents, people who are not supposed to take sides. And they are saying, in the strongest possible terms, that Trump cannot continue. So where does this end? The next few hours will determine the answer. Congress is effectively giving Trump a deadline. Resign by midnight or we act. And the mechanisms for action are already in motion. The 25th Amendment is ready. The cabinet can convene. The votes can be taken. If Trump refuses to go voluntarily, the constitutional machinery will remove him. He will be declared incapacitated. J.D. Vance will be sworn in, and Trump will be escorted out of the White House. But there is another possibility, one that is even more dramatic. If Trump, in his rage and desperation, decides to defy the court order one more time, if he does something that triggers Judge Boasberg's threat, then federal marshals will move. They will arrest the President of the United States. They will take him into federal custody. They will charge him with contempt of court. and he will sit in a cell while Congress finishes the job of removing him from office. Those are the choices. Resign and walk out with whatever dignity remains, or fight and be forcibly removed and face arrest and watch as history records that the presidency ended not with a resignation speech, but with federal marshals at the door. For a man who has spent his entire life trying to project strength, trying to convince the world that he is the most powerful person in the room, those are brutal choices. And based on everything we know about Trump's psychology, about his refusal to accept defeat, about his instinct to double down when cornered, there is a very real chance that he chooses to fight, that he forces the confrontation, that he makes them come for him. And if that happens, the scenes that unfold will be unlike anything America has ever seen. A sitting president being physically removed from the White House, a former commander-in-chief in handcuffs, the 25th Amendment invoked for the first time in history. The constitutional system, the one that the founders designed to handle exactly this kind of crisis, finally being used for the purpose it was intended. But here is what people need to understand. This is not a coup. This is not a power grab. This is the Constitution working exactly as it was designed. The 25th Amendment exists for a reason. It exists for situations where a president is unable to discharge his duties, whether because of physical incapacity or, as the drafters intended, because of mental instability. The courts have the power to enforce their orders because the founders understood that no one, not even the president, is above the law. Congress has the power to demand resignation, to impeach, to remove, because the founders understood that the executive branch must be checked. All of this is constitutional. All of this is democratic. All of this is the system protecting itself from someone who tried to break it. And what makes this moment so significant, so historic, is that the system is working. After months of Trump pushing the limits, attacking judges, defying court orders, having his attorney general lie under oath, treating the rule of law as something that applies to everyone except him, the institutions have finally pushed back. The courts have issued their rulings. The Congress has organized. The public has demanded change. And now, in the space of a single evening, the entire landscape of American politics has shifted. The Republican Party is fracturing in real time. The members who are demanding Trump's resignation are not just abandoning him. They are choosing between two futures. One where they go down with a president who is about to be arrested, about to be removed, about to be the first former president in American history to serve time in federal prison. And one where they break with him now, salvage their own political futures, and try to rebuild a party that can function without him. The defectors are making their choice, and every hour, more of them join. For Democrats, this is vindication. They have been warning about Trump for years. They have been saying he is a threat to democracy. They have been building the case piece by piece, ruling by ruling, article by article. And now, at the moment when it matters most, they are getting Republican allies. They are getting bipartisan support. They are seeing their warnings validated not by partisan politics, but by the actions of judges, by the words of Trump's own chief of staff, by the resignations of career officials, by the defections of Republican members of Congress. But this is not about partisanship. This is about something larger. This is about whether the United States of America remains a country where no one is above the law. This is about whether the Constitution can protect itself from a president who tries to tear it down. This is about whether the institutions that have held this country together for nearly 250 years can withstand the pressure of a man who has spent his entire life believing that rules are for other people. And the answer tonight is yes. The court stood up. Congress stood up. The cabinet is preparing to stand up. The public has spoken. And a president who thought he could operate above the law is discovering in the most painful way possible that he cannot. The next few hours will be brutal. Whatever Trump chooses, resignation or removal, the scenes that play out will be dramatic, chaotic, and seared into the memory of every American who witnesses them. But the outcome is no longer in doubt. The presidency of Donald Trump is ending tonight. Right now, as the sun sets over Washington, as the resignation demands climb past 60, as federal marshals stand by, as the White House leaks describe a president who has lost his grip on reality, the end is here. This is the moment that historians will write about. This is the moment when American democracy faced its greatest test since the Civil War, since Watergate, since every other crisis that threatened to tear the country apart. And this is the moment when the system held, when the checks and balances worked, when the rule of law law triumphed. When a president who thought he was above the Constitution learned that no one is above the Constitution. Trump is losing, Congress is acting, the courts are enforcing, and democracy is winning. That is the story of tonight. That is the story of March 26th. And that is the story that will define the rest of American history.